Welcome back to Red vs. Blue episode summaries. Today, I'll be doing episode 27, 9/10 of the law. At Red Base, Sarge and Donut remained, with Donut attempting to make small talk, starting with the fact that it was only him and Sarge at the base, which was new. He then mentioned how cool it was that Sarge used a shotgun, somewhat disappointed that he only had a regular pistol, but claiming it worked well enough for him. Donut then began whistling as he ran out of things to talk about, questioning when Griff and Simmons would return, what they were up to, and if they stopped at the store to pick up elbow grease, which he claimed they were low on, simply calling Griff and Simmons the guys. Donut managed to ask Sarge one final question involving him getting Sarge's armor when he died, but Sarge couldn't utter a response before Griff and Simmons arrived, announcing their return. Donut greeted them by stating how glad he was to see them, lying that Sarge would not stop talking to him, as Sarge had actually ignored Donut the whole time. With Griff and Simmons back though, Sarge finally spoke again, clarifying if they had been able to work out a good exchange for the prisoner. Simmons regretfully denied, explaining how the Blues were doing something really weird when they went to their base, with Griff specifying that it was really weird, adding that they were rude as well. This led Simmons to get pissed off, claiming that they agreed he was going to tell the story of what happened, to which Griff bitterly responds telling him to go ahead. Simmons simply further emphasizes that the Blues were doing something beyond the normal weirdness scale, before Griff jumps in to accuse him of telling the story wrong. Simmons annoyedly asks Griff how he remembers it then, with Griff simply responding that they agreed Simmons was a kiss-ass, jokingly claiming he was fuzzy on the rest. Simmons, annoyed, finally gets to the point, explaining to Sarge how the Blues didn't want the prisoner back. This leads Sarge to start ranting angrily about the Blues, exaggerating that their treachery knows no bounds, and calling them Blue Devils. Griff tries to cheer Sarge up, explaining how it wasn't a total loss, as he stole one of the Blues' wallets, leading Sarge to state proudly that he may be able to turn Griff into a good soldier after all, making Griff surprised by the once-in-a-blue-moon praise, only for Sarge to reveal his sarcasm, demanding Griff to get back to work and leave the money on his nightstand. At the Blue Base, Church was still complaining about his legs, bitterly questioning Tucker how they were going to get them working. Tucker, stating how they couldn't just keep pulling wires randomly, suggested calling in a professional, preferably someone that could also fix up Sheila. Church responded that that was a great idea, but reminded him the only people that could fix Sheila were Tex and Lopez, the latter of which he called Senior El Roboto, calling back to what Sarge said in episode 22. Caboose responded with disappointment, agreeing that Tex wasn't an option because she was hard to work with, leading Tucker to bitterly add that she was obviously more difficult to work with since she was dead. Church responded that he didn't appreciate Tucker's offensive attitude, likely due to being triggered by Tex's death. Caboose then brings up Lopez, dumbly clarifying if he's available, leading Church to annoyingly remind him that he was possessing his body. Caboose then suggests that Church simply leave his body for a bit, so he and Tucker can force Lopez to fix him and Sheila, calling Sheila his girlfriend, much to Tucker's confusion, as he calls Caboose a retard. Caboose, embarrassed, repeats what he just said, but calls Sheila the beautiful tank lady that means nothing to him instead, adding that Church could still repossess Lopez when he was finished fixing. This whole idea in general confuses both Church and Tucker even more, as they both comment in disbelief on how it actually seems good, but it came from Caboose. Tucker punches Church, leading Church to angrily ask him what that was for, with Tucker clarifying he wanted to see if he was dreaming, so he punched Church in the face. Church bitterly clarifies that you're supposed to get someone to pinch yourself if you think you're dreaming, with Tucker rebutting that he would never ask Church to pinch him, no matter what dream he was having. Church simply responds by threatening that Tucker better not have damaged his forehead, meaning Lopez's. Church then agrees to go through with Caboose's plan, ordering Tucker and Caboose to watch Lopez to ensure he doesn't try anything, with Caboose and Tucker accepting the request. Church prepares himself, saying, "Here goes nothing," as he leaves Lopez's body, once again shouting Higa Herger. Despite agreeing to watch over Lopez, Caboose and Tucker had already gotten sidetracked talking, with Tucker congratulating Caboose on coming up with a good idea and actually contributing, and Caboose humbly thanking him, stating he just enjoyed the process of helping. Ironically, while they were talking about how good the idea was, Lopez had regained control of his body and already left the Blue Base. Church, who was now in ghost form again, was actually happy to be back in the spirit world, stating how good and loosey-goosey it felt. His happiness didn't last for long though, as he noticed Lopez was gone, questioning Tucker and Caboose what they did with his body. Tucker ignorantly and stupidly asking Church why he cared about his body if his legs didn't work, forgetting the plan entirely. His statement gets cut off when he sees Lopez running in the distance, instead remarking happily that the legs work now. Caboose, on the other hand, grabbed the sniper rifle and shot at Lopez, stating in his creepy voice, "This one's mine," referring to killing Lopez. Church panics, instructing Caboose to stop, claiming he might damage his body, instead ordering Caboose and Tucker to go through the teleporter and cut Lopez off, stating he would meet them down there as he disappeared. Tucker complained to Caboose that he refused to go through the teleporter ever again, stating he had a tingle somewhere from last time, before cutting himself off, implying it was a weird place, simply reconfirming he would not use the teleporter. Caboose tried to enforce Church's order, wanting to please him, with Tucker cutting him off, stating there was another way they could help that Church didn't think of, as he threw a grenade through the teleporter and ran towards the spawn location, instructing Caboose to follow him. Church had arrived at the spawn point just before the grenade, cutting Lopez off and demanding he stop, calling him amigo right as the grenade arrived. Lopez noticed it immediately, saying something in Spanish as he disregarded Church's demand, running away. Church angrily questioned where Lopez was going, calling him a robot baby as he reminded him of his demand, but then noticed the grenade, mistaking it for simply a rock resembling one at first, only realizing it was a real grenade as it blew up, causing him to nonchalantly say, "Oh crap," thankfully not dying since he was already dead. Meanwhile, at Red Base, Griff was looking through the sniper rifle, saw the explosion as Sarge and Simmons heard it, resulting in Sarge questioning Griff on what the hell was going on. Griff incorrectly replied, assuming they were under attack, although adding it was sloppy and poorly coordinated. Sarge further asked how many Blues were visible, with Griff looking through the rifle, reporting exactly what he saw, which was 2 Blue soldiers running towards them, and 1 retreating, the former two unknowingly to the Reds being Caboose and Tucker, and the latter one actually being Lopez. Sarge simply responded that they would make them all retreat, ordering Simmons to saddle up and rope up some Blue steer, being an analogy for getting in the Warthog and attacking the Blues. Simmons happily obliges, as the two of them cheer, hopping in the Warthog. This left Griff and Donut alone in Red Base, leading Donut to once again try small talk, and once again start with how cool it was that the two of them got to have some alone time at the base for once, asking if he thought Sarge and Simmons would be gone long. With Griff simply replying by telling Donut to shut up, calling him a rookie. Donut continued talking anyway, lying about how he and Sarge's conversation was so in-depth earlier, mentioning how Sarge showed him pictures of his mother, they chatted about home decorating, macrame ideas, being a loner in high school, their feelings and dreams, and home recipes for soufflés. Griff moans in annoyance through his whole speech, regretting his life choices that have had him listen to Donut.